Sir William Seo.
Mr. Chairman, Taulawhalawa, and to the members of this House, grateful for the opportunity also to make a contribution to this debate. In the past several weeks, perhaps 3 general debates, we have listened to the members of the John Key government talk about mana. And all of a sudden today they are no longer talking about mana and trying to make a big ado about nothing. And yet in those past several weeks I have sat and listened to members of the John Key government sort of keep repeating how good and wonderful they were to the people of mana, which reminded me of an old saying, sir, which says, e ngaole mo sope lava e vivi'i lava ia nga ia. And I'm going to translate that for my friend across the room there, Tauhenare, whose Samoan is not as good as mine. It says that the cock is the only bird that crows its own praises. And for the past 3 or so general debates, that's all we've heard from the national government people was praising how good they were towards the people of Mana. And so I think it is important that the people of Mana know that the success or failure of this government, of this John Key government, and its policies can be measured by how they treat communities, the people of communities like Mana, because Mana, sir, is an electorate that is diverse in its peoples, cultures, languages and faith. Mana, sir, is a microcosm of New Zealand society now and into the future. And so the way that a government, the John Key government, treats this community also enables us to see how it would treat the rest of the nation. And so we've got to now ask, and I hope that the people of Mana will continue asking this government between now and to the 20th of November, how does this government treat them? How does this government treat the people of the diverse communities of Mana? This John Key government has treated it, and I'd say with greatest respect, has treated it in the same way that we saw John Banks treat South Auckland and not too far away. We see this government treat the people of Mana in the same way that John Banks treated South Auckland. He treated South Auckland with disdain, with disrespect, aided and abetted by the John Key government, I would have to add, Mr. Speaker. Let me just give you some examples of how the people of Mana have been affected by the John Key government and their policies. In June of this year, we read in the Kapi Mana News, and it says, more than 2,000 Mana children will be affected by budget cuts to early childhood education. And the people of Mana, their families, have every right to feel betrayed by this government. Information obtained by Labour from the Ministry of Education shows 2,109 children are enrolled at 47 early childhood education services in the Mana electorate. They currently receive funding for having 80 to 100% qualified staff. This government, the John Key government, will cut this funding from next February, leaving a shortfall of $25 per child per week. Early childhood centres will likely pass this cost on to parents or sacrifice the quality of education that they are receiving. Local families have every right to feel betrayed by this government, which broke their promise to keep existing early childhood education subsidies in place. Sir, when I visit the groups and the churches and the community organisations in parts of Mana, I hear the concern expressed by parents about the future of their young children. They express that concern because not only is this government cutting funding, valuable funding that goes into the education of their children, and yes, it is very true. Well, then read the Kapi Mana News. I say to that minister there, read what is written in. This is another example, sir, of somebody sitting in the ivory tower not knowing the pain, the struggles that the people of Mana are going through. I tell you, Chris Fafoi is somebody that knows what's going on there. Chris Fafoi, let me tell you this. Everyone that I've met so far, there was some people I met there.
Member's time has expired.
Oh, is it? So Chris Fafoi is the person that we are recommending.
Tiki Parada.